Hi, welcome to Beginning Ukulele. Today the lesson is going to be on getting prepared to do the song Hanalei Moon. It's coming up on your very next tutorial. So at this time you want to go ahead and get your music sheet called Hanalei Moon right there at the top. So go ahead and pause the tutorial, grab your song Hanalei Moon, and we'll be starting in about a second. Okay, at the top of your music sheet you see the word vamp, and then you see D7, G7, C. That's your vamp. Those are the chords you're going to be using for the vamp, and that was discussed earlier in a previous tutorial, so you should have already learned that. However, just to let you know, the vamp is up there in the corner of the music, vamp, and the three chords you're going to be using in the vamp. Now also, I need you to mark the song with a square for chorus and a triangle for verse. Now you need not put chorus or verse, but put the symbol to signify that chorus. Eventually, you probably come up with your own symbols that let you know what verses and choruses are. So this is starting to get you introduced in labeling the sections of your music, so that you can keep track of them and recognize what sections are what sections. So the square, we're gonna label that as the chorus. So right where it says, when you see Hanalei by moonlight, you're going to put a square right there. So that's kind of like in we call it something like a stanza, or maybe the middle paragraph. You might use that terminology, but it's the middle section, and that's your chorus that you want to signify, just to signify that if you ever want to lengthen the song, you know that after every verse you got to come back with a chorus, so that's what you would be repeating. Okay, and then for the verse, you put a triangle there. Down over here it says that's the last section, and it says Hanalei moon is lighting beloved Kauai, right at the bottom there. Right there, that's where the triangle is. So go ahead and label that. Okay, so you can keep track of your music. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick chord count exercise, making sure that we can do the chords for the entire song. And once again, this is our review. Okay, I would say that even though I have the chords up here written in the fingering over here, I'm going to show you some stuff that you can do. Also, you may notice for G7 and F, I didn't write the fingering. Okay, because you should know that already. So once again, like I told you earlier, don't always rely on me to give you the chords. You need to start memorizing the chords. By this point, you should pretty much have whatever chords we covered, you should have them under your resources already. In other words, know how to play them. At least form the chords. You may not be perfect the first time around, but at least know how to form the chords correctly. Okay. Another option to let you know, when you play the ukulele and as you progress and as you get better, you don't have to do every chord the way that you were taught in the beginning. The way that you're being taught is just a basic format to teach you. Like, in other words, like when you first went to school back in kindergarten or whatever it is, you learn how to print the alphabet. And after that, you learn how to write it in script. Then after that, sometime in your adult years or your really late teens, you probably wrote more of your style of writing, whatever the case may be. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you is that your chords will evolve. They will change according to how you play, how you want to play, and how it best fits your style of playing. So for example, we make our C chord like this with the ring finger, okay? But however, in the music that we're looking at, if you look at the first line, it says, Hanalei, Hanalei, moon is lighting my beloved Kauai, and the chords above it are C, D7, G7, etc. So normally we make our C like this. However, because the D7 chord is following the C, and we make our D7 like this, why not just make your C chord like this with your middle finger, okay? So you would look for, as you do your chord exercise, look for ways on how you can make your job easier to switch chords. That's one of the things why we want to preview the music every time before we play the music. So we look for things that we can make our job easier to play the music. Once again, instead of making your C like this, which is totally fine, do whatever you want. However, if you find this easier, for instance, from the D7 chord, take your finger off, you got the middle finger in that position already on the C chord. So the next chord after the C chord, on the first line of Hanalei moon, just put your first finger as a bar and you got a D7. So in other words, here's a C, next chord is a D7. Notice how I just put that finger up there, and then the G7 we slide in position, okay? We just slide into position. Next would be the F, and all we're doing is keeping that first finger on, sliding this up to the top string on the second fret, and ending with a C like that. So you should maybe be able to start to make the C chord maybe in more than one way, okay? So keep that in mind. Let's try a chord exercise. So let's just, for exercise purposes, make the C like this with your middle finger, index. Okay, next D7. Bring that first finger right on the second fret covering all the strings. Make sure all strings can sound. Next string is the G7. Slide the first finger down to the second string. It's in position already. Once we got the finger in position, bring those other two fingers on. We got the G7 chord. Make sure we got it all. And then the F chord. Leave the first finger on. Move the second finger up on string. We got an F. Ring finger is in position for the C chord. And there you go. And then for the next line, it's the same thing. What you can do is just slide that index finger, the middle finger, slide it into that C position. There you go. And you're ready to start again with going from C to D7. Okay? So make sure you do a chord exercise for all the chords in the song. So in other words, you'd be going C, D7, G, F, C. Next line would be C, D7, G7, C. Chorus, that's when you see Hanalei by Moonlight. Chorus with the square, C, and then a D7, and then a G7, and then a C, quick to the G7, coming back to a C, a D7, G7, C, quick to the G7, and then we're doing the last verse with the triangle, the last verse. So keep in mind that you have two options of making your C, either this way or this way. Figure out how you want to go to your next chord. That's going to determine how you make your chords go into the next chord. Now, if you want to rewind that section to talk about chords and previewing the music, go ahead and pause the tutorial, back it up a little bit, and then listen to it again. We're going to move on and talk about strumming. Okay, so now we're talking about the strum of the song. So basically, from this point on, or from the previous tutorial, we're only doing up and down strums. Up and down strums. Okay, so make sure you are totally aware of your strum zone. You should be down to just one fret by this time, and this is meaning that you have chosen how you're going to hold your ukulele, how you're going to strum, etc. And you are pretty much, this is kind of the way it's going to be for a while until you start to develop your own style of playing and your own fancy techniques, etc. So once again, don't forget when we're strumming this song, it's up and down. No more downward strums only. There's nothing wrong with downward strums. In fact, there's a lot of songs that calls for downward strums, like blues music, okay? But for this particular songs and the songs we're going to play from now on, it's always up and down, okay? Okay? And the emphasis is on the down strum. So in other words, emphasis coming up, you're still you're still touching the strings coming up, but emphasis on a down. Come up, emphasis on a down. Come up, down. Okay, so don't forget that. So you'll be utilizing those techniques. Please, by all means, if you want to back up the tutorial and check it out one more time before you move on, make sure you're comfortable with everything, and especially the chord changes, because on the next coming tutorial we are going to be playing the song Hanalei Moon. Okay, see you for the next lesson.